The dust had settled, and a strange silence fell over the battlefield. 4 miles around, the only sound was the mournful cry of a lonely bird. It circled above the carnage, a grim specter against the bruised sky. Below, the allied forces of the human kingdom, the dwarf kingdom, and the high elves, lay battered but unbroken. They had more than held their ground against the tide of darkness that had threatened to engulf them. The undead army of Nazarick, though seemingly endless in its ranks, had finally broken their assault, falling back into the swirling mists that had brought them forth. But victory had a heavy price. The field was littered with the slain, the living slumped beside their fallen comrades, too wounded to rise. Among them, the great heroes of the 3 nations, their names once sung in taverns and shouted in war cries, now lay silent, their faces pale, their chests still, their breaths mingling with the cold mud. The air was thick with the stench of death and the despairing cries of the dying. It was a scene of utter devastation, a testament to the merciless efficiency of the undead horde. Yet even in the darkest moments, hope flickers like a candle flame in the wind. The heroes of Nazarick had held their ground, buying precious time for their allies to retreat behind their magical defenses. Time now to regroup, to lick their wounds, and most importantly, to plan their next move. Suddenly, the swirling mists on the horizon cleared, revealing a lone figure striding purposefully towards the beleaguered Alliance encampment. An undead, yet not an undead warrior, for he bore no weapons. His hands were clasped behind his back, and his eyes, devoid of any malevolent glow, seemed to regard the world with a detached curiosity. He wore no armor, yet he moved with the confidence of one who knew his own strength. His simple black robes rippling in the wind, his face obscured by a deep hood, giving him an air of mystery and menace in equal measure. As he drew closer, the assembled heroes could make out the strange crimson patterns embroidered on his robe, each stitch a cryptic sigil that hinted at forbidden magic and arcane power. As he approached the edge of the encampment, a messenger from Nazarick, unarmed and cloaked in crimson robes, floated before the Alliance encampment. He brought a message, a proposal. Ains Ulgaun offers you a choice. Leave now, and your nations shall not be erased from history. Stay, and you will not live to regret it. He spoke in a monotone voice that seemed to echo with an unnatural resonance, devoid of any inflection or emotion. It was a voice that seemed to come from beyond the grave, a chilling harbinger of things to come. It was not a threat. It was a promise. The messenger finished his message and waited. The generals inside the war tent argued. Some wanted to accept the offer. Some wanted to fight to the death. In the end, the Alliance refused the offer. Not because they believed they could win against such overwhelming odds, but because backing down now would make every fallen soldier's sacrifice meaningless. Ains watches from afar with amusement as the humans regroup. A part of him is impressed by their tenacity, but another part finds their defiance amusing. How noble, he said with an empty smile. Now let's see how long that nobility lasts. He turned to Demiurge. Initiate Phase 2. Far across the battlefield, a squad of elite warriors, blessed by their gods and armed with artifacts, approached a shadowy forest rumored to be one of Nazarick's hidden bases. But as they stepped into the mist, their leader paused. Too late. One by one, they vanished. No screams, no struggle, just silence. Because Phase 2 had begun, and in Phase 2, mercy was no longer calculated. It was deleted. With the messenger's grim warning echoing in their ears, the Alliance prepared to face the coming darkness. They knew that Ains Ulgaun had given them a choice, but they also knew that there was no easy way out. The question was, could they hold out long enough to inflict a decisive blow on the undead? Or would Nazarick's relentless horde sweep aside their last line of defense, plunging the world into an age of darkness? In the heart of Nazarick, Ain stood before the swirling gateway, watching as the human reinforcements vanished one by one. A cruel smile tugged at the corner of his lips. Let the game begin,